Let's watch some Gordon Parks. Hey guys, welcome to Pillbox Movies. I'm Hank, and today we're going to be watching the 1969 semi-autobiographical film, The Learning Tree. This is, I believe, the debut feature of African-American Renaissance man Gordon Parks. Gordon Parks is a noted photographer, filmmaker, and The Learning Tree itself was actually one of the first 25 films selected by the Library of Congress to join the National Film Registry as being culturally significant, important, those things that they say. I don't know how that list is faring these days. Last I checked, Shrek was being added to it, which is fine, but being the first one of the first 25, now, that is an accomplishment. Looks up what the first 25 films in the National Film Registry were. Best Year of Our Lives, Casablanca, Citizen Kane, The Crowd, Doctor Strangelove, The General, Gone with the Wind, The Grapes of Wrath, A High Noon, Intolerance, The Learning Tree, Maltese Falcon, Modern Times, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, A New Cook from the North, On the Waterfront, The Searchers, Singing in the Rain, Snow White, Some Like It Hot, Star Wars, Sunrise, Sunset Boulevard, Vertigo, Wizard of Oz. Yeah, we're fine with that list, I guess. Anyways, The Learning Tree has been on my list of films to watch for a very, very long time. It's, maybe I haven't looked hard enough, but it's an incredibly difficult film to find, despite being, on the National Film Registry, despite being the first African-American feature to be produced by a major Hollywood studio, done in conjunction with Warner Brothers. But yeah, if you're interested, you can actually find it on YouTube. And so, while the quality is not great, that's the version I'm going to watch now. Before we start, remember to click the like button and subscribe if you're new here. If you want to see some more old art house, was the other one I say? Or obscure films. Man, remember when Warner Brothers was like doing okay stuff? I don't. Was this the same year as Sounder? Sounder was like in the 70s, wasn't it? 71? Sounder was 1972. Richard Ward as Booker Savage. We love Richard Ward. Previously featured on this channel in Across 110th Street. Just a revelation as an actor.
This is me, Doc Motherfucking Johnson.
One of the great performances that I have seen since starting this channel. DP is Burnett Guffey as we get this wide expanse. I'm always so jealous to see these kind of... It's maybe my confirmation bias speaking, but these older films capture such a wide expanse of the American landscape. It's really, really quite arresting. I think perhaps maybe some of it comes along with the developments of the technology. You develop better cameras, you want to film as much as possible. In a similar vein, because our technology's developed so well in the realm of like CGI and green screen stuff, people want to shoot more under those conditions. Understandable, but unfortunate. Is that an actual tornado in the background? That is crazy. We've got Wizard of Oz going on. Mabel, Jesus! These conditions are far too dangerous. This is going to be a scene of sexual awakening. Seems like the right conditions, I guess. Near-death experience. Childhood friends. What more could you ask for? It's a psychosexual Wizard of Oz. Which is, hey, Wizard of Oz. Yep.
Leave us repentant. Oppress us.
Look at this. A positive depiction of religion. Although perhaps maybe nuanced. You always gotta wonder about those artists who end up in New York.
Where you going, winger?
Oh man. We gotta get this movie popular. It's gonna blow up the suspenders and denim industry.
Feel like apples, Beansy?
Oh, I could eat some, I guess.
Hey, there's old man Kiner.
It's like watching the Fellowship of the Ring. They're just a bunch of hobbits. Oh, well.
You didn't have to beat him like that after he was down.
Well, fellas, ain't that something? Winger sticking up for the poor white trash. Peckwood for one of his own gang.
Oh, wow.
All I want to know is you with us or not.
I'm always with the fellas here.
Okay. It's a surprisingly
You
nuanced
don't like
depiction
nothing I do, Winger. Nothing. You're always against me.
I don't know what you mean.
Yeah, you know what I
of
mean. You know exactly what I mean. You just keep it up. You'll see what I'm getting.
maintaining party lines in terms of race relations, specifically in conditions where you know, you're not meant to extrapolate it or anything, but just in these specific circumstances, the nuance of Newt feeling like he's obliged to side with his black friends, despite not feeling like they were in the right in this situation. These are just beautiful landscape shots. And a beautiful depth to them, too. Oh, wow. The cinematographer for this, Burnett Guffey, he shot In a Lonely Place and Bonnie and Clyde.
Tuck! Tuck! Kirky's coming!
Don't shoot! Don't shoot!
Well, now you can see what happens to criminals.
What do you mean by
Especially
criminals?
the kind that goes around beating up on white folks and running from the law.
Tuck didn't beat up nobody.
Well, but you young hyenas did, didn't you? Now, where's that nigger Marcus? Jake said he's the one who did the dirty work. Is that so?
What do you mean, nigger?
I'm asking you if he's the one who did the beating, boy. Now, you all stay here. I'm gonna get some help and drag that criminal out of there. And don't you all try escaping like he did.
Escaping?
What's the matter now? You giving up?
I do love the shots of these four boys. They genuinely, if we weren't in the context of, you know, racist cops and stuff, they'd look like hobbits.
Hey, y'all come down here a minute.
I bet he wants us to die for Tuck.
This is like an awful thing to do. It doesn't seem like the kids are too, like, you know, mixed up over it, but, you know, forcing young kids to dredge up the body that you shot to death. I guess it's a different time. Different tolerances for different events. No, this is gonna culminate into something bad. You gonna dream about Mabel? Or are you gonna dream about the beating? Or are you gonna dream about the dead body? A lot of important things have already happened. Yeah, that's fucked.
About Captain Tuck. And death.
That's a long way from you, son.
Hmm.
Tuck's gone. Resting in peace somewhere.
I keep seeing him turning over and over in the water.
Tuck liked you, son. He wouldn't hurt you, not even in death.
I'm scared of death, Mama.
Hmm.
I'm afraid of death.
Go back to sleep, son.
I wonder how that'll manifest further in this movie. I mean, if this is something that Gordon Parks, like, genuinely felt in his own life, it seems like kind of like a commonplace fear to describe, but to admit it honestly in, like, in novel form and film form takes a great degree of vulnerability.
Newt, come here. Want to see something?
I told you he was a nerd. Cool transition.
Marcus, this thing you did to Mr. Kiner brought disgrace to your people.
This town don't want me, and I don't want this town.
Oh boy.
Boy, that ain't no way to talk.
You got a nerve.
Richard
That's right.
Ward.
I've just committed you to Spitz Reformatory for 6 months. I hope for your sake that you can rid yourself of this evil in you before you come back.
Yeah, you think that's going to happen in a reformatory?
You're going to rot in jails for the rest of your life.
You're spelling out a lot of great options for him. I have little hope in my heart that this will improve his lot.
I I believe God made us and expects us to do good here on earth. Can't say if God's his real name. All my life I've been told about a better world somewhere beyond this one. It's awful hard at this late date not to believe.
Speaking again as, just like an atheist, like, it is really beautiful to see
You mean be a Christian?
a religious...
In a way, but there's more to it than that.
A religious character, a religious black protagonist, but also in that, seeing a religion as like a manifestation of family relationships.
Are we gonna live here all our lives?
Like, he's religious in a way because he loves his mother, and
I ain't been no place else.
his faith is describing a love that he has with his mother, and her faith is a means of
sort of like fruit on
loving and instructing
some
him.
Good, some bad. Understand? No matter if you go or stay, think of Cherokee Flats like that till the day you die. Let it be a learning tree.
Where the daffodils? They're even too pretty to pick.
Then don't. Let's just sit and look.
It'd be silly, wouldn't it?
No, that's
I don't
sweet.
think so.
The combination of Gordon Parks and as a photographer and Burnett Guffey,
Private little garden.
just like wonderfully
Would you like to
resplendent
take some time?
cinematography. Look at that. You gotta love that shot. It's really, really nice. You love the flirtation of, like, walls, like Pyramus and Thisbe. Nothing brings lovers together more than separation.
Oh, Newt, it's beautiful. Just beautiful.
Oh, what a harsh juxtaposition.
Wash him in the white snows of thy holy Christmas.
Has he been getting in fights with the correctional officer?
Show him the light. Show
Shut
him.
up. Shut up. Get the hell out of here. I don't want no Uncle Tom's praying over me.
Read the scripture on the back, son.
Yeah, I mean, like, religion is like a huge, huge component of this movie.
Oh, part of your poor white trash. God, he ain't gonna do nothing for me. And he ain't gonna do nothing for you as long as you stay black.
And I guess
You tell Crapper to stop beating on us nigger boys.
if I want to
That's what he
extrapolate
calls us,
on the
nigger,
idea of
nigger. Tell him, Crapper. Tell him what you gonna do to me when they leave. Tell him.
Son.
Don't son me. Just get going so Crapper can ride me about you niggas coming to pray over me.
yeah, I gotta pause. Gosh, this is already so dense, and it's already like kind of like anticipating so many thoughts of what like fantasy expectations I want to have of it, like in a dream version of what this movie could be, what I'd want, and it's already doing them. To just expand on a small point that I was making previously, like I discussed how in Newt's specific relationship with religion, it's depicted as like a kind of like extension of his relationship with his family, that he's able to like understand or take comfort from religion because it's based in the warmth and affection of his mother and his family. And kind of in contrast, at least from that scene, what I'm seeing is that part of why Marcus is like unable to accept religion and to take solace in it is because there is no kind of like extension of like family or warmth or support that he finds in it. For him, religion is being constructed as kind of this as an individuated experience. It's something that he needs to kind of like read on his own and learn on his own and find grace on his own. Even with the pastor there, it's the pastor is not offering him his own support. He's offering him this talisman of religion to take comfort from. And so as a result, religion seems like this remote and insubstantial thing for him. And it's maybe just me kind of like extrapolating, but it's an interesting contrast. And I'm happy to say that, before I was saying that what I would love to see in this movie with him being incarcerated is that his strife isn't with other inmates, because that's something that we generally see in, I think, most movies that interact with correctional facilities. There's this kind of like preponderance of a narrative that it's like a charnel house where all the inmates are like eating each other alive, and like it's just like ruthlessness and mob mentality and gang warfare. Prisons as depicted in media are a bit resistant to depicting institutional officers and correctional officers as being as responsible for perpetuating a cycle of violence and trauma in prisons. And so Gordon Parks is like, hey, look, what's the problem with prison? It's the white correctional officers, and I'm just like delighted to see that kind of fold develop in the narrative. Awful.
Here you are. Now you got a black god.
Merry Christmas, nigger.
Awful. Awful. Genuinely.
I plan on going to college.
Are you serious? Well, let me tell you something.
Don't.
Very few Negro students go to college. They just aren't college material.
In what way?
And the few who do go wind up as cooks and porters. In any case, it'll be much easier for you and wiser for you.
Wiser.
You just hate us colored kids, don't you?
Yes.
Young man.
Well, we hate you too.
Oof.
I'm grading you.
That right, Newton?
He's he's braver than I am.
I don't see things the same way.
He speaks very clearly. Maybe it's from a place of naivety, but he
caused you to tell her you hated her?
He speaks very plainly about what he sees.
I didn't say I hated you alone. I said all the colored kids hate you. Don't go to college. You're just going to be porters and maids.
Is this true, Miss McClintock?
Mr. Hall, I'm a new class advisor here.
Roaster.
For 20 years. I tell them what I was instructed to tell them.
Who?
Oh, that's fair.
Mr. Hornsby, the principal before you.
It's already so much more nuanced than you'd expect. That's already so much more nuanced than like any kind of discourse we get in like movies in general, like ever. This is like established early on as kind of like a bad apples kind of narrative, that his teacher is exhibiting some an individualized racism, that Newt is perceiving her as having a personal vendetta against the African American students in the classroom. And you know what she reveals? Her racism is based on institutionalized policy. The previous principal had directed her to give this kind of recommendation and instruction to all the African American students. Amazing. So much more truthful. Shocking.
Although she must share the blame for this awful wrong, Miss McClintock is somewhat a victim herself.
Oh my God, it's
a situation that existed for
so
long.
Brimming with acute observation.
Mr. Hornsby is more to blame than she. But then, so was his father. And my father.
Madness.
And millions of others.
Madness. How insightful this film is. This was supposed to take place in 1920?
Left up to me.
America's moving a little too slowly, to be honest.
I have to get in the house and do some homework and a few things. No.
You want to go to the show tomorrow?
I'm worried, like, I'm hoping she's just like, changed her mind and isn't into him anymore, but like
something wrong?
It's like taken such a somber turn that I'm like afraid that it might be something worse. I don't know if the heights line up on both shots.
Hi, son.
Wait, so Richard
told me you was getting out today.
Richard Ward's voice wasn't like that? He just made that up for Across 110th Street? The fuck is wrong with this guy? Just an amazing actor. No, you don't take whoring money. You don't take dirty, junkin' money. You just take the clean money. Not gonna lie, Richard Ward is stacked. It's surprising, given their first interaction and stuff.
Ha! You learn to respect me, boy! Sons of bitches.
He's like actually incredibly vulnerable in this
Kill
scene.
me a pecker would sure as hell one of these days.
You'd think he'd just be like an abusive, alcoholic, angry father, and he does exhibit aspects of those, but he's actually showing a lot of remorse and concern and
What's the matter, son? You hurting us?
perhaps a little bit of regret in this scene.
Is she real sick?
Don't think so.
Oh no, his mom's gonna die.
It's coming home.
That's why Gordon Parks moved to New York.
No?
Because, you know, there's a mama's boy if
hold
you've
on.
ever seen one.
On the left.
It's America's ass.
It's nothing serious.
Okay,
Pop.
so it was something
Nothing
serious.
serious. Her pa was here this afternoon saying she's gonna have a baby. Ain't that serious?
Speak up, girl. Is this boy responsible or not?
No, Papa, why don't you listen?
Then who was it? Who was it?
Really awful, 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 awful.
Sorry. And I'm sorry for what has happened.
Awful. They had to skip town.
Hey, come here a minute. I want to ask you something.
Yeah, what do you want?
What do you aim to do now?
That's a fucking
I don't
face.
Want a job here?
So is this a bordello? Seems like it.
Now, this is my room. Now, I want 2 towels under every pillow in every room.
Is this here a whorehouse?
With talk like that, you won't be around here long. Boy. You just change the bed, sweep the floor.
Keep your head
and
down.
Mind your own business.
Yep. It's weird, the thematic threads that go through the movies that I watch. I don't know. Maybe I'm just like subconsciously picking movies with like the same little plot points, but like I just watched Belle de Jour, which also featured a Madame's house.
Nobody has to get hurt. We gained up on the other 3 guys to let Newt and Jackie win. Then we split the 5 up. Okay, come on, good.
A bunch of hobbits.
I'll do it right here.
Look out, wait, let that water. Ho. Yes, you're gonna be all right. Another Jack Johnson.
Yeah, you and me, Winger. We'll be the very last to be out.
Marcus, why are you holding this grudge?
You ready?
Not exceedingly well choreographed. Damn, he's got some guns. We're watching Michael Mann's Ali. Has like Newt been a good fighter, this good a fighter this entire time? Come on, outbox him. It's kind of it is interesting that even their fighting styles is kind of like indicative of their personalities. Like Newt seems to be point fighting and like trying to stay on the outside, and like Marcus is like waiting for the opportunity to like come on the inside and brawl. Well done. Well done. Miata conquers Epo.
There in that damn barn. He's got gallons of it. You know something? He comes into town to market Saturday mornings. Yeah, every Saturday morning.
And so 2 assholes plotted a plan.
It rains all the time. The sun never shines. Nothing left for this poor
We love it.
say.
Big booty band. Why not?
My baby's gone, my baby's gone, my baby's gone, it's gone.
You know what? I'm happy to see it. You'd think that there'd be like a value judgment on this being like a brothel and stuff, but you know what? It's staying fairly neutral. It's just showing, you know, a black community enjoying itself. Black euphoria. What's not to love? It had to be Marcus's dad. The shots go a lot longer than you'd expect them to. These days, we like to think of like continuous shots as like prestige work, but you know, for low budget indie filmmakers or whatever, they're kind of about economy. Less setups. Au revoir, Shoshana! This is an interesting moral quandary. It's not even a moral quandary, but a social quandary that Newt has been put in. He witnessed the real killer, but the real killer is black. Is he going to be made to feel like he's betraying his community if he reveals that to the police? This is a man's life at stake.
Yeah. Hurry up, Newt.
What's he gonna do? I honestly don't know. That's the power of a movie, to genuinely pose a question that you can't anticipate the answer for. Although I do have a guess. He's gonna say he's gonna tell the truth.
There sits the beast who is
Your
responsible
Honor, I
for this.
object to such reference to the defendant.
What's your language, counselor?
Counselor, comb your hair, counselor.
The defendant did with premeditation and willfulness murder the deceased with this crowbar.
That's a really hard charge to prove. How are you going to prove that he premeditated it? I think the plot is already full enough that I don't think his mom is going to die at this point.
No. Silas didn't kill Mr. Kiner.
Oh man, him and Marcus are going to like have a fight on a rainy bridge.
I call your witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. Would Newton Winger please take the stand?
Oh my god, Marcus is going to kill him.
Now, Newt, I want you to tell the court in your own words exactly what happened.
And then he saw this other man. But the other man hit him in the head with the crowbar. And he kept beating him after he was down.
Newt, I want you to tell the court why you didn't come forth with this information before.
I'm scared. I wonder if he would be held in like contempt or arrested if he like withheld or didn't admit to knowing the identity of the other person.
Now, Newt, I want you to look around this room very carefully and tell the court if you see the man, the one who broke into the room.
It's him. The man with the red shirt on. Booker Savage.
He's lying! He's lying!
I love you, Richard Ward. I think you went a little too far on this one.
Get that nigger!
Oh, God. No, 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 no. That motherfucker has two guns and two holsters. Why would he need two guns?
Back to your seats.
I guess for this situation, but
He shot himself dead.
fuck him.
You who shouted so viciously frightened Booker Savage out of that right. You pulled the trigger.
Wow. A lot of depth.
You decided that he had killed a white man.
A lot of depth.
So you judged him, and you executed him. Have you forgotten that it was a black boy who saved a white man's life here just a few minutes ago? It took courage to do that. A lot more courage than you have.
Dude, this movie.
It was what he feared from you that kept him from revealing what he knew.
I'm sure people will view this as like too polemic.
And your actions justify
or
that.
too like too grandstanding. That guy looked exactly like Lyndon B. Johnson.
What happened to my old man? He shot himself with my gun. That's what happened.
Made a fast run over there.
I know it. But Newt Winger says different.
Oh,
And he saw it all. Every damn
frick.
bit of it.
Just
Kill that bastard.
honestly the worst cop in all of human history. He doesn't even pay any attention when Marcus says that he's gonna kill Newt. Just friggin' rides away.
Sarah's asking for Newt.
Newt's afraid of death. How will this resolve itself? I wonder if this is like subconsciously something that Gordon Parks felt, that he like killed his mother with all of his antics and hysteria and stuff. He obviously didn't.
Your mother's gone.
But I wonder if that's something that he's kind of transferred onto his film. Yeah, his mom died when he was 14. He spent his last night at the family home sleeping beside his mother's coffin, seeking not only solace, but a way to face his own fear of death. Jesus. Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. People be going through some hard stuff. I really like the depth in a lot of Gordon Parks' compositions. I wonder what it feels like. This is like a question I have for Stu too, for Passing Strange, but what does it feel like to like compose and shoot these like incredibly intimate personal details in such a public and revealing way? Like I said earlier, with it being very commonplace but incredibly vulnerable and revealing, that Parks would like have his self-insert character say that he was afraid of death. This movie has been an incredible progression of really frank displays of personal grievances, personal demons, and experiences. Wow. Wow. Just the knowledge that this came from like a genuine
I ain't afraid anymore.
experience in Park's life. It's like absolutely mesmerizing.
Understanding and devotion to her family and to all who knew her. Sarah Winger knows God's love.
Come on, son. Let's go.
Sarah Winger knew God's love.
What are you doing that gun, boy? Come back here. Maybe he's going after the Winger kid. Call Kirky.
I hate that they're gonna try that they have to like triangulate the sheriff as being like a good guy at the end of this, or the intervening force, because dude didn't do a lot of great things over the course of this movie.
I ought to kill you,
Why?
but I can't.
Kirk, you'll kill me. Let me up, let me up. Let me up.
Okay, I'm glad they didn't try and portray Kirk as being like the savior in this situation.
Where's he at? Where is he?
Because
He went in the
he
woods.
sucks. Oh, I hate that this is ending the same way. You know what, Kirk? You fucking fish him out this time.
Winger, you can rest easy now. Won't be bothered with him no more.
He just shot him.
Aren't you gonna try to get him out?
No hurry about that. He ain't going anywhere.
You fuck.
Cut deep.
Due process, man? Fuck.
Get on the back. I'll give you a lift home.
This film just
I can make it by myself.
never compromises on its perspective.
Okay by me. boy.
Just amazing. This, like, it never comes to like the false resolution that perhaps there's an opportunity or situation where the white police can like be helpful or be of service to the protagonist, because the policeman ultimately represents the systems of oppression that are instigating and perpetuating violence in the Black community's lives. Okay, that was great. First of all, I want to say that Alex Clark as Marcus gave a genuinely a wonderful performance. Really imbued a lot of angst and indecision and rage boiling at the surface. I think that Estelle Evans as Sarah Winger too was really phenomenal, really sweet, and portrayed the character with a lot of depth and a lot of strength. I don't want to fault Kyle Johnson, the guy who played the child actor who portrayed Newt. I think he did a pretty good job, and I think probably the way he was directed by Gordon was to deliver everything kind of like in as neutral a way as possible, and I think that's better for the story, to be honest. Honestly, as a filmmaker, as an artist, I can imagine that Gordon Parks that Parks would have been like embarrassed to see the role done in a hugely emotional and performative way. And so I think the performance actually reflects the kind of liminality of the character, the transition he's experiencing between childhood to adulthood. I think that's probably the best way to present the character. And honestly, I think that there's like so much going on in the story itself that if Johnson overacted it, it would have been distracting. There needs to be a little bit of space left for it in Newt for the audience to kind of like insert themselves in. And so, yeah, I think this is great in just so many different ways. I think cinematography is great, the performance is great, the story was great, and very, very nuanced, and just such an intelligent perspective from Parks. I really don't have much more to say about it. I really think you should watch The Learning Tree. It's a great movie. Go give a look at Gordon Parks' stuff. And until the next time, keep watching good movies.